We're definitely going to go and do the deep dive on this comment right there. The common question I always get is, how do I avoid muscle loss in the beginning if you're not fat adapted? What's up, everyone? Welcome to my very humble channel. Now let's get right on to or into how do you not lose muscle in the beginning of trying to keto adapt when you're not adapted. Well, you can't avoid it. What you gotta do is minimize the hemorrhaging of muscle, and that's not hard to do. When you first decide to do a keto or carnivore diet, you literally have to get out all of the sugar and the carbs, the processed food, the fast food, the coffee, the cheese, the nuts. Get rid of anything that's inflammatory and get ready, because you're also going to have to go to bed extra early, not work out at night, no cardio, and these are ways to keep the cortisol balanced in the body. The reason why it's so important to regulate your adrenal, your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, is because cortisol can kick out glucose by breaking down amino acids in your body and spiking your blood sugar. And when that happens, you're not going to make viable ketones. You might make them, you're not going to use them, and you'll start losing muscle. That's what we're trying to avoid. This is why you got to go to bed extra early, right? We don't want inverted cortisol, where your cortisol is spiking at night and is low in the morning. Avoid working out after 3 o'clock, because between 3 and 4 in the afternoon, cortisol is trying to go down and melatonin is trying to rise, but because you're working out late, it inverts. Cortisol just starts kicking out, blood sugar spikes, you don't adapt, and you start burning through amino acids. Another great tip you want to do when you're first starting a ketogenic diet, if you're a beginner, or even if you are sort of been trying it for a while but you haven't adapted, is eat every couple of hours. That means don't fast, because we are trying to calm the adrenals down from kicking out what? Cortisol. That's the problem. You can have ketones register on a glucometer. If your blood sugar is too high, you're not using those ketones. It's just the way it is. The body defers always to use glucose over ketones, because in nature we wouldn't always be in ketosis, but we also wouldn't be eating carbohydrates, not processed ones. So it's about finding that balance. You can do keto for the long term like myself, or you could do carnivore for the semi-long term. No, you can do carnivore for the short term to get down inflammation and then bounce over to keto land, or you can do low carb, high fat. And I'm going to do a video on if you can lose weight and have the health benefits on low carb, high fat as opposed to a ketogenic diet. But for now, let's get into how to keep the adrenals chilled out. Another way you want to avoid losing muscle, which is being cortisol driven, is to go to bed extra early, right? Because we don't want, again, to invert our cortisol and start breaking down protein when you want to build muscle at night, especially that first half of your evening when you're sleeping between 9 and 3 a.m. If you're not sleeping well, you're not releasing the growth hormone that you need, or the testosterone, or building the muscle. You could be eating muscle. We don't want to do that. We don't want to wake up flabby. We want to wake up toned. Yeah. Of course, get your macros on point when you're trying to build muscle. You want to regulate your blood sugar by doing things like the sleep and don't work out late, but also getting your macros on point so you can make the ketones. People are eating too much protein. Protein converts back into glucose, and it blunts and stops your keto adaptation. Eating high fat trains the brain to make ketones via the liver. So now you've got sustained energy that lasts hours and hours and hours, which is ketones, rather than trying to break down muscle to raise your blood sugar. It's very important to get your macros correct. Don't eat too little fat. Eat a lot of fat, and moderate to low. Not low, but moderate to low. And how you build muscle with moderate to low protein is by regulating the hormone insulin. If insulin's working, you're going to build muscle because you're in ketosis. You're not in catabolic phase of body breaking down amino acids to raise your blood sugar. You are raising ketones. So now your insulin is sensitive, and now your body's not breaking down itself when you work out. Now, the type of workouts that you do, get your form correct. Learn the sliding filament theory. Learn how to contract muscle. Do not overtrain and do not undertrain. This is how you build muscle. It's regulating cortisol, your nutrition, your attitude, the way that you work out. You might want to do a little time under tension, right? Tension. I'm doing a bicep curl this way, and I'm doing a bicep curl on the negative as I release. Well, I'm decontracting, but I'm sustaining muscle contraction slower as I release. And that is another way to build muscle. Instead of doing a bunch of cardio, don't do a bunch of cardio. Do resistance training. And this is how you build muscle on a keto or carnivore diet instead of losing it. Make sure you eat high cholesterol because you don't want to get your fats from like olive oil if you're trying to build muscle. We need cholesterol because that cholesterol is the substrate to making sex hormones like testosterone, which help you build what? Muscle. And the last thing is chill the frack out. Y'all are too sensitive and too triggered and are too rough on yourself. Self-love, self-care. Get outside, get some vitamin D, put your feet in the soil, and drink enough water. Balance those electrolytes so you can contract muscle because we need the electric conduction between your muscle cells. And that's how you get it in. That's how you don't lose as much muscle when you first start, as you're transitioning from a carb burner into a fat burner. And you can minimize that hemorrhage by doing all those steps. And I'm out. Comment below. Tell me if you feel like you're losing muscle or gaining fat on a ketogenic or / carnivore diet. Also, share this content. Hit the notification bell to get more great, reasonable content on this very humble channel. Now, I have to get my 56-year-old ass, to the gym and be full natty. We want to be full natty. Women, stop running towards the pellets and the creams and the elixirs and the HRTs. People are like, really? But what if it's natural? I'm like, no. Allow the adrenals to do their job. Yeah. That's how you stay fit and keep your muscles as you get older or at any age. Comment below, share. And also, if you need to book a consultation, go to stephanieperson.com. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook fan page is Stephanie the Business Person. I run a course where I cover all 3 diets because not one diet fits all. We know that now. Some people can't do carnivore, some people can't do low carb, high fat, and some people cannot do keto for various reasons of hypoglycemia, thyroid, or the gallbladder. So we got to find the right one that fits you according to histamine or whatever. Also, get ready for the challenge because I'm going to launch this shite in January. Not December, January. And I'm out. Peace. Build some muscle. Build some muscle.